Hola, señoras y señores, sejam bem-vindos de volta à Liga Master. And that is as much Portuguese as you will ever get out of me. Hello, everybody. For those of you that don't speak Portuguese, and that would include myself, welcome back to the Master League. Today is the beginning of a new season, and as it's my first season in Brazil in any game, I've got a lot to learn because the format of the season is very, very different to what we normally experience in most of the major European leagues. Before we get to that, though, we need to talk about the transfers that took place over the closed season. Now, there's a lot of departures to talk about, but there is also a new arrival that we need to talk about as well, and that arrival is in the shape of Mailton, a right back who joined us for around about. Actually, I'm not sure if he joined us for anything. That's a very good thing. I'm going to have to check that just a second. Because let's talk about the departures first, because those are certain. Trelez has left us. I can't remember if that was on loan. I think it was on loan. Zika left us in a £9 million deal. We'll have a look at that in a minute. And Marcinho also left the club along with Finocchieto, the goalkeeper. There just wasn't any need to keep him around because we did sign. I believe we did sign a goalkeeper from the youth team, and Wellington Silva, who really just didn't have the abilities to stake a place, not even in the first team, but in the matchday squad. We did try with him, but his ratings and his stats just too low to be able to really contribute on a regular basis. So we ended up cashing in on Wellington Silva. We've got this notice here that the youth team has had a new intake. Let's have a quick look. If we go into the transfer database, we can have a look at the two prices that we got for Wellington Silva and Zika. Silva we ended up selling for just over £2 million, which is not a bad deal considering the state of him. Zika, who was a player that I wasn't necessarily all that. I didn't want to sell him. Given that he was the best right back at the club, he could play at left back as well. He had the pinpoint crossing, which, as we all know, is something that's vital to the way that my teams tend to play football. But for £9 million, couldn't really turn that down. Now, if we go into negotiations and into my team, you will see there that we have Romero, 17-year-old goalkeeper, obviously a regen, signed for us from the youth team. Trellis is still with the club. He's just on loan, so don't worry about him. He will be back. Hopefully that loan deal will do him some good. And if we go through the rest of the team, Suarez, a player that we signed on loan, not on loan, sorry, that we signed from the youth team, and a very, very good player as well. He's going to play a few games for us this season. Carrying on up, Diego Carlos, we all know about him. He was signed during the previous transfer window. And that is it for the signings that we made from the youth team. Mailton, the big outlay this season, you can see there that he has a release fee of 9.3 million. We'll go into transfers because honestly it's been a week since I last played this save. I've been playing a personal save since, and I've completely forgotten pretty much everything that I've done in this game, so it's going to take a second for me. Apologies, this is a really ramshackle start to an episode. Let's go into the transfer market news, and if we go down, we should eventually. The deal has to be here, surely. No, apparently the deal isn't even listed, even though we did sign him for money. But there we go. That's just how it is, I guess. So you can see Zika and Wellington there, both leaving the club. I wonder actually if. It says that Melton's joined. It doesn't say how much for, which is annoying. But there we go. It hasn't made a massive dent in transfer funds. If we go in there. You can see 67 million budget and 61,000 for wages. So we've got plenty of money available to strengthen the team even more. And if we go into the schedule here, you'll see that it's only the opening day of the transfer window right now. We have the international friendlies against Flamengo, Universidad Catolica, I don't know, and Gwangju Evergrande. So we've got some interesting fixtures coming up, and then the Copa Continental do Brasil round 2 first leg. And the last day of the transfer window comes just before the second leg of that tournament. Now, when I was talking about how the league structure is different in Brazil, have a look at this. We've got pretty much the entire, everything up to the quarterfinals of the Brazilian Cup. Then we have the Libertadores alongside the Cup. National team announcements, Libertadores, the final of the Brazilian Cup, which I didn't realise was a two-legged affair, and then the first game of the league season starts on April the 11th. So the first league game of the season doesn't start for another 4 months. But today we're going to take in Inter versus Flamengo, just to give us an idea of how the team's going to perform against other Brazilian teams, with the few extra signings that we've made. I say extra signings, extra signing. We now have a different right back in the team, in the shape of Mailton. I think he's going to do well for us. He's got all the stats that I like. Okay, so the backroom staff are telling me that I should be playing Diego Carlos, give him a little bit of match time. I agree. I do agree, because I think he's got the potential to be the best centre-back at the club, and he will probably get there in pretty short order. If we have a look at the game plan here, we'll see that Schurz is our best centre-back at the moment on 76. Diego Carlos is already better than Cuesta, allegedly. We can have a look here at the stats between the two. You can see that Cuesta is better at passing the ball. They're both pretty much equal defensively. He's a better dribbler, but Diego Carlos has the upper hand in strength and speed, and that is something that could prove to be pretty vital for him. Let's have a look at their stats side by side, because we all know I like a defender who can get up and head the ball, and that is something that at the moment Cuesta still has the edge on. Certainly in heading, although from a jumping point of view, Carlos pretty much rinses him. So yeah, and look at the speed of Carlos as well. So I think not only are we going to follow the backroom team's advice, but actually we're going to make Diego Carlos the starting centre-back alongside Schurz this season. Now, we are still a little bit light on defenders. We have Charles, who can play at centre-back. And obviously Rodriguez is now the standard bearer in defensive midfield, so we're not going to have to worry necessarily about Charles having to flip between two positions. Patrick, I played a lot with Patrick in the closed season, and he really impressed me. He's a very, very decent player, even though he is starting to flake out slightly. So he will get a lot of games in the attacking midfield alongside Velasco or Nonato this season. D'Alessandro has only just regenerated, so he's a player that I think will come into his own later down the line. But this is pretty much going to be the starting 11 this season, at least to start with. Hulimar has come into his own. He's playing very, very nicely for us on the left. Lopez on the right doing an excellent job. Suarez can play anywhere across the front three. He can also play as an attacking midfielder, so that gives us an awful lot of fluidity in what we're able to do in the substitutions department. And you can see there that if I change these around, Potka still on the bench. So Cuesta, Charles, Patrick, Ed Nilsson, D'Alessandro, Potka and Suarez are the bench as it stands at the moment. We're probably going to make one or two more signings. I would like to sign another centre-back. But I think outside of that, a small squad isn't necessarily a bad thing. It certainly allows you to distribute the funds among the players a little bit more evenly. So anyway, let's get on with the game, shall we? You've had enough of me talking. There's a negotiation going on, but I think we'll talk about that after the match. Let's crack on. You came here to watch football. I came here to play football. Let's get on with it, shall we? Have a quick look at the game plan. Make sure nobody's going through the floor, and they're not. So I'm perfectly happy to go ahead with that starting 11. Let's crack on. Let's see what we can do. So first things first, like, what is the aim for this season? Well, of course, it is the Libertadores. I think if we win that this season, then we might actually cut it short in Brazil and move on to another league and see if we can make a bit of a collection of international tournaments. I'd like to retain the league, obviously, and since we're in this little round-robin cup competition, the International Champions Cup of South America, I don't see why we shouldn't be aiming to win that, as well as the Brazilian Cup as well. Should we go for the quad? Let's go for the quad. Why not? It's good to have an aim in life, and going for the quadruple could very well be something that we should have on our resume. I like the fact that the Brazilian Cup as well is stacked over 2 legs all the way through to the final. So it doesn't quite have the magic of an FA Cup where, you know, an upset can happen on any given day. But at the same time, it's nice to have that little bit of extra security, knowing that we are probably one of the better teams in the competition. Given the canter at which we won the league last season, I think it's fair to say we're one of the better teams in the competition. So over 2 legs, we should actually be able to do the job over most teams. That said, we do have some bogey teams in the league, and we need to make sure that we don't take anyone too lightly. So here we go, kick-off in the Champions Cup of South Africa. A nice pre-season tournament that we can get our teeth stuck into nice and early. Velasco sees the run. He's in. Oh, it's a good tackle from the defender. Brilliant move early by Inter, though. And that's very good from Diego Carlos. He uses that little bit of extra pace to cut across the defender and take the ball. Doing a good job of pressing here, Flamengo. And they've done a very good job of winning the ball high up here. There's a foul off the ball. If they lose it anytime soon, we could end up seeing... Oh, no! Oh, wow. A scare for Inter early on. The ball dropping, but nobody alive to it. Nobody getting onto it, fortunately for us. Well taken by Lomba. Throws the ball out. And here's Iago, who had that early chance. Plays it down the line to Hulimar. Held off by Fuller, who's been really important for Flamengo early on. It feels like this team are taking a few minutes just to get that fluidity back, which we saw from them last season. Iago. Cross into the box. Defender takes it easily. Nobody anywhere near it. Goes out for a throw-in. Monato. Hulimar. Takes a shot. Oh, he's put it in the back of the net from just outside the area. First goal of the season, and it's for Hulimar. We were talking about how he's made that position his own at the tail end of last season. And he started off this season just as he finished the last. And I'm sorry to any football shirt purists out there, any numbering purists, but the number 4 is staying with Hulimar for the foreseeable future. Because superstition dictates that he's had a brilliant start to his career at Inter in the number 4 shirt. And why would you take it away from him? 1-0 to Inter after 20 minutes. And that's how you want to start a league season. Well, it's how you want to start a season. The league hasn't started yet. Getting carried away here. Rodriguez looks to close down the midfield. Ball into the box. Good defensive header. Calm from Schürrle. He knew where Iago was. Played the ball to him. No hassle whatsoever. That's lovely from Guerreiro. Couldn't quite find the pass, but it was lovely control leading up to it. It's Diego Carlos now, bringing the ball forward. Plays it in to Lopez, who looked to play it wide to the right back, but couldn't quite get the ball away in time. Flamengo back on the ball now. Guerreiro closing down. He'll be looking to open his account nice and early. Oh, that was a suicidal back pass. They've got away with it. Long ball forward. Schürrle's under it. Beaten to it, actually. And here's a chance. Barbosa. Good tackle from Mailton, making himself known in his first start for the team. Lobbed ball forward. Lopez looking to get onto it. He's going to press his man. Can't quite get any joy out of it. It's a good move. Velasco does a great job winning the ball. The referee says there was something wrong with the tackle, though. Didn't see too much wrong myself, but I mean, what? How? I don't understand how that's a foul. I really don't. There's no logic in that decision whatsoever. Ball played forward. And they've got it again. They take the shot. No joy. Velasco picks up the rebound. Hulimar now. Guerreiro is making a run forward. He's got the ball. He's still got... No, he's been dispossessed. Brilliant defending. Here's Reina. Plays it back. It's found its way to Pedersen on the left wing. He's making a run for it. Mailton closes him down. Brilliant tackle from the right back, newly signed by Inter in this closed season. He's got the ball again. Mailton again. Crosses. Doesn't find the cross. Dangerous though. Nonato. Lopez, they're really looking to exploit this right hand side, or Inter can't quite control the ball that time though, and it goes out harmlessly for a goal kick. But Inter are showing a lot of intent. Oof, not the best pass, but they get away with it. Mailton again on the right hand side. He's looking, there's a run here from Nonato, and he does find him. Crossed into the box. Defender just getting ahead of Guerreiro in the centre there. Good defending. And at half time, with the whistle blown, it's 1-0 to Inter. As you would possibly expect after such a dominant season last time out. They've lost none of their main players. They've brought in a couple of recruits who have strengthened them in some areas. Really, the only players that they've lost have been the weaker ones in the team that didn't contribute too much. Zika, the big miss for them, but Mailton looks like he is every bit the replacement that Inter would have required. That's good from Guerreiro. Chasing the ball down to start with. I just need to check something because I think... No. Auto change attack levels is switched on. Just wondering because we're still stuck on level 3. Iago, Nonato, out wide right to Mailton. He sees a ball, he plays it poorly. Wasn't looking for Nonato, he was looking for Lopez. Couldn't find him at all. Ball forward. In to deal with it though. And that is going to stay in just about. Flamengo with possession. Going to look to do something with it. Can't quite manage it. Moved out left to Pedersen. Nonato closing him down. Tackles him well. Gets away with the ball nice and early. But he's tracked down quickly, so he has to release it to a teammate. Nonato. Rodriguez, base of the midfield. Pendulum that makes this team tick. Schurz out to Iago. Miscontrol slightly, but he's not too worried about that. Plays the through ball. Here's Velasco on the left-hand side. He's going to put a cross into the box. Guerrero gets up to head it. Just wide. Just wide from the Peruvian. I think he's Peruvian. Long ball forward. Diego Carlos gets up well to head it, but the ball falls to a Flamengo player. Velasco can't quite close it down in time. Iago's left stranded. Here's a chance for Flamengo. It's 1-1. Gabriel Barbosa, the Flamengo number 9 with the equaliser. Sloppy defending from Inter. They're going to have to do better than that when the league season comes around. They were second best to every single ball here. Unusually for Rodriguez, unable to get around his man to make the tackle. He's going to have to do better than that. So it's 1-1 here. Rodriguez, Nonato, Guerrero, back to Rodriguez, Lopez, out to Melton, can't get the ball though. Tackle by Nonato, it's played the ball through to Guerrero, out to Lopez, across to Hulimar, can't make it, can't get on the ball, but they keep hold. Out to Iago. Can he find the cross? No, he puts it out of play before he's able to put the cross in. Irritating. Very, very irritating. Going to have a look at what changes we can make here. What can we do? Who do we have? Well, we can use everyone on the bench, so that's a good start. We're not left without any options. Let's have a look at... Suarez is a tricky operator. There's not really too much. Patrick on for Velasco, perhaps. A little bit more defensive bite in the centre of midfield, even though he's an attacking player, nominally speaking. These players do drop back a little bit to help out when they don't have the ball. Carlos gets up to head the ball. It falls well for a Flamengo player. Oh, Barbosa, he's got a chance for a second. It's off the post. Inter are really going to have to wake up to the threat of Gabriel Barbosa. They're playing very, very well here, Flamengo. Waste. Absolute waste. They had them on the ropes there with the counter-attack. Guerrero's broken through. Can't find the finish though. Very nice from Diego Carlos. Patrick, beautifully cushioned header. Hulimar, tackled fairly, the referee says. Flamengo able to come away with the ball. If something's going to happen, it's going to happen soon. Oh, Lopez just can't control the ball. Pedersen out on the left-hand side. Referee claims that that was an unfair tackle. Again, not entirely sure about that myself. But the ball goes out of play. It's going to be a goal kick to Inter. They're going to have to do something soon. Pedersen coming off. He's lost the ball a fair amount this game. So Rene and Molinaro coming on. Well won by Rodriguez. Guerrero. Lopez. Mailton tackled. It's a shame. He had a good chance there. And Flamengo have got the numbers if they choose to use them correctly. Oh, Rodriguez. Fantastic tackle. Ah, no. And that's it. End of the game, it's 1-1. A pretty lacklustre affair, all things considered. Inter would have wanted to win this. I mean, that goes without saying, both teams would have wanted to win this. It ends in a draw. It's not the worst result in the world, but certainly they would have hoped for all 3 points today. We'll see what happened in the other game in this mini-league. Gabriel Barbosa with the man of the match performance there. So from the Inter players. Hulimar getting a 7.5 as well. Patrick coming on and doing a decent job at 6. And in the other game in the group, it was 0-0 between Gwangju and Universidad Católica. So there's every chance, every team still has has the chance. Inter top purely, I'm not even sure how. How are they ahead of Flamengo? Because they scored first, perhaps? I don't know. But they're equal first place at the moment, given that they've scored one more goal than Gwangju and Universidad. So that's where we're going to leave it today. Thank you very much for watching. Join me next time when we'll be playing the next game in this International Champions Cup of South America. Against who, though? It's going to be against Universidad. So, until next time, thank you very much for watching. Take care. I will see you soon. Wait a second. No. There was a negotiation we needed to check on, wasn't there? Let's have a look. So, we've had an offer for Guerrero. Oh, my word. Oh, my goodness me. £50 million from Chelsea is the offer. Cuesta, we've had a deal of 1.5 approached by Ajax, but I really can't afford to lose any of my defenders right now, so we're going to say no to that. Oh my goodness me. 50 million. No. He's too important to us. Sorry. If he comes to me and says I want to leave, maybe. But until then, it's not happening. Anyway, as I was about to say, I'll take care of everyone. See yourselves tomorrow. I'm tripping over my tongue. Bye-bye.